In today's video, I will be talking about why Season 4 of The Boys is the worst season of the show so far. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see where I rank Season 4 among the other seasons of The Boys, but also where The Boys ranks for me against other superhero shows. The first thing that I wanted to bring up was the writing of some of the characters in this season. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this season felt very rushed and not well planned out, especially when it came to the writing of some of the main cast. For example, let's look at Huey. In the beginning of this season, he finds out that his dad has had a stroke and that he probably won't make it, which is a pretty big deal considering that Huey and his dad are close. But we get another bombshell that his mom, the woman who did the dash on her family, comes back into their lives. Now, to me, these are pretty big plot lines and things that we could have spent a season on, but no, in the span of one episode, Huey gives his pops the compound V and he ends up on a killing streak.
Fatality.
And with a death like this, you'd expect Huey to grieve and have a hard time dealing with this, but yeah, that doesn't really happen. Instead, we get invited to this freaky ass tech night party and this nigga Huey ends up doing freaky ass shit, just for in the next 2 episodes to have him be the one who has sex with the shapeshifter. They put this nigga Huey through hell and back, and not once did we have a moment to see him grow or how the death of his father has affected him. But now that we have talked about Huey, let's talk about the other 2 characters that have fallen victim to this bad writing, Frenchie and Kimiko. Now, in this season, and to be honest, the last couple of seasons, I feel like the writers have had no idea how to handle these 2 characters. And after this season finished, I feel even more strong about this. In this season, we have Frenchie deal with the demons of his past. While we have seen The Boys touch on this topic before, I feel like bringing in someone like Colin was interesting because it made Frenchie deal with his past differently since it's face to face, especially with someone he cares about. And while I am glad that they didn't make the reveal that Frenchie killed his parents last the whole season, I was disappointed that the whole plotline just vanished out of nowhere. And you know me, I start rubbing my hands and shit, getting excited to see where they take this. And sadly, this nigga gets taken out of jail in like 1 episode. Now let's move on to Kimiko, who I feel as a character has felt stagnant for a while now. Like Frenchie, she struggles with her past, and again, like Frenchie, we have already been here before. We get introduced to this woman that Kimiko beat the shit out of when she was in the mob, and like the Colin situation, she just disappeared and we completely forgot about it. With these 3 characters, they just bring shit up to give them something to do, and then when they need them for the main plot, they drop whatever it is that they are dealing with. On paper, the things that happen in this season are very good. For example, Homelander becoming president of the US and arresting the boys is a very interesting plotline. There are so many things going on in that finale, and I don't think there even needed to be. The boys get 8 episodes every season, and there were some episodes where I feel like they were just wasting time. The finale of the show should have been split up into 2 episodes. Not a part 1 or part 2 kind of thing, but more so that they didn't have to start or finish a plotline in 1 single episode. In 1 episode, we saw Newman be outed as a super and Newman was killed. Butcher tries to reason with Ryan, but it backfires and Ryan kills Grace. Homelander finds the picture of Becca and Butcher, starts tweaking out, destroys his apartment, and then yells at Ryan for the first time, like seriously yelling at him. Huey proposes to Annie, and then it turns out Annie is the clone. The real Annie escapes and kills the fake Annie. Then the 7 decide to pretty much kill everyone in the Vought building, including Ashley. And then... You see what I mean? Way too much stuff is going on all at once. The stuff that is happening I have no problem with on paper, but the way how it's paced I think is too much, which just honestly leaves kind of a sour taste in my mouth. Another thing that bothered me in this season was this scene right here. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I genuinely have no idea if Ryan is going to be Homelander Jr. or if he's going to be Superman. But I'll tell you what, man, Grace sold like crazy in this episode. This nigga Ryan is like 12 years old. Why on earth would you tell him that Homelander raped his mom? Did you think he was gonna be like, okay guys, I'll join you now? That's a lot to just drop on a kid and expect him to join your side, especially when you're telling him that you're gonna trap him and train him so he can kill his dad. She really sold here, and because of that, this nigga Butcher is gonna be on demon time in season 5, especially now that he has the virus. But not gonna lie, after Ryan killed Grace, the way that Butcher looked at Negan I thought was so funny, bro. That shit had me in tears. It's like in the OG Spider-Man trilogy when Peter is deciding what suit to pick. And also, why the fuck was Annie mad in this scene? This nigga didn't even know it was her and she read Annie's mind. Not gonna lie, if that was me in that situation, I would have been cooked, bro. Now, I know that I've spent most of the video hating on this season, but there is still so much good stuff in this season. For one, Homelander. Every season, Anthony Starr keeps getting better and better, and right now he has solidified himself as one of the greatest villains of all time. I don't think it's a hot take to say that the episode in this season where he went down to the lab is one of the greatest acting performances in recent memory, but characters like Annie and MM are absolutely great in this season as well. I feel like since last season they have started to take MM seriously as a character, and he has been great. We just got to find him better clothes, and then we should be solid on his character. I like how in this season we see Annie have an identity crisis and not really know who she is outside of Starlight. The new characters like New Black Noir, Sage, and Firecracker have all been great additions to this show, and they were cooking with these characters. But now let's get to the rankings of the other seasons. My ranking right now for this season is season 4 at the very bottom. Next on the list we have season 2, and then the OG season 1, and to no one's surprise hopefully, we have season 3 on top. Soldier Boy is my favorite character in the show, so having him come back gets me excited for what's to come. Now, if I had to rank this among the other superhero shows, it's hard for me not to make this show number 1. Its only competition to me is the Batman the Animated Series and Daredevil. Now, I do think depending on how good season 5 is, this can definitely be the best superhero show of all time. But right now, I have Batman the Animated Series at number 1, then The Boys at 2, and then in third place is either Daredevil or Spectacular Spider-Man. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and let me know your rating of The Boys seasons down below. I'll be responding to everyone. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.